So you've got your four colours. You've got Phthalo Blue, French Ultramarine Blue, Cadmium Yellow Light and White. And you need a few brushes. You're going to need something big for pushing a lot of paint around, something in the middle, and a couple of small ones for doing all the fine detail. And you're going to have a nice big palette here, something you can spread lots of paint around on, and a great big water pot. So I've mixed my Phthalo Blue here, a little bit of this Cadmium Yellow Light and some white. Just the tinsiest bit of water to make it spread. And I've got that lovely, beautiful, tropical colour. Okay. Now we're going to spread that paint all over our canvas. We want plenty of paint. Don't be afraid to dip the brush in the water a little bit, not too much. And by shallower water, we need to have a little bit more sand in there, so a little bit more yellow and a little bit more white to make it a little bit lighter, like that. And we mix the two colours up on the palette right next to that one, so we make sure that we're making any mistakes here and not on our painting. Now I throw that shallower watercolour on the canvas beneath the other one, and you can see I'm sort of really pushing it into the canvas, and I'm not worried too much about it being a little bit uneven. So now I'm just going to repeat this process all the way down the canvas, using more yellow and more white as I go. So we've got that lovely transition here. We're starting up in the deeper water, a little bit more Phthalo Blue, and as we come down we add Cadmium Yellow Light and White, gradually creating the illusion of deeper water coming into shallow. And if you look at the palette, got the same thing happening here on our palette. That's where all the working out happens. So here's where we get to have some fun. If you ever have a look at the water in some of the light filters through and creates that beautiful pattern on the bottom, we're going to do that. And we're going to use the same mix of colours that we have here on our palette, and we're going to use them in a way that creates that fantastic pattern. This is one of the advantages of leaving all of those colours on that palette, having them spread out. You can come back to them later on. A little tip, I'm using this colour here, and you'll notice that it's lighter than the deeper water colour. So I'm going to use this colour. I'm going to roll my brush. Now, this is not as easy as it looks, so practice. So now I'm coming down into that lighter colour here, and I'm going to put my brush down here where it doesn't matter so much and gradually come up higher. Now I'm creating the illusion of a series of very loose kind of diamond shapes. And we repeat this process, gradually adding, again, more Cadmium Yellow Light and more white as we come down into shallower water. So once you've got a rough idea, don't be afraid to kind of go back up with that paler colour up here into the deeper water. It's those little extra little sparkles here and there that'll make it zing. Finally, add a lot more white. And just kind of bump it up here and there. Create that really nice intense light. So for the final piece of this, we're going to represent the sky on the surface of the water. And in fact, putting the sky on it will actually create the surface of the water. And we've used lovely cool colours. So now we want it to be a warm summer's day, so we're going to reflect a warm summer sky colour. So for this exercise, we're just going to use French ultramarine blue and white to create the illusion of the light reflecting on the back of the waves. And I want a nice pale bluey colour. And I want a little bit of water in there, just so it moves. And you'll notice I'm working my brush on the surface here, or on the palette here, because I want to make no mistakes there. I want to know my brush is going to do here before I put it here. I'm just going to very roughly put in a few highlights here and there, just to start the process. And these are, the best way to describe them would be very flat, shallow U's. You can think of it like a series of very long W's, but stay away from pantomime waves. Okay. So now I'm just putting in a few random ones here and there. And if you look closely, you can sort of see maybe there's 3 sets of waves here. So I'm just now going to fill in those gaps and continue with that illusion. Now a little tip, if you want to flatten the water, especially in these circumstances, or create flat spots between the wave, reflect the sky. We're making your brush very dry because we only want to put tiny little bits of paint on. It's not a bad idea just to put a little bit of paints on first, because it makes the process less scary. It's very non-committal. Now, to sort of create that curved effect, I'm going to put some highlights on the front of the waves. So I'm going to use a little bit more white, and that'll suggest reflecting a lower part of the sky and create that lovely scallop sort of shape. And it'll make the white stand out more down here, or the sky anyway, I should say. So just adding white to that. And you'll see I've mixed it up next to that colour so that I can see how strong I need to make it. And now I'm taking a lot of the paint off on my palette and not on my painting. And on the front edge of each of these waves, I'm just putting a little highlight like that. So what we've done now is we've created the illusion of the light hitting the surface of the water and all of those little waves associated with it. But fundamentally what a wave is a lump of water. So what I want to do in order to make it more of a lump is to add more watercolour to it. So I'm going to do another little trick now, and I'm going to get a little bit of Pthalo Blue, like that. Just mix it up there on my palette. Just add the tiniest bit of water to it. Get yourself a singlet that you can wipe your paint on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that blue, and I'm just going to brush it here very, very gently. I don't know if you can see that. Just in the face of the wave at the top. Very, very thin paint, like that. And what that will do is make the face of the wave look a little steeper and make the water look a little deeper. Just make sure you do this with a very dry brush, very non-committal. That's a lovely little exercise to create the illusion of tropical water. But we all know that water doesn't always look exactly like that. So what I've done is I've broken down the appearance of water into 4 elements, all of which will relate to one another in different ways. And you can get that on my DVD, Water Fundamentals. You should be able to click somewhere there for more information on that. Or there's a whole pile of free stuff on our website, exploreacrylicpainting.com.